Hello everyone and welcome to SwitchUp. In today's video we're going to have a look at the 10 games that got the best scores on the channel for last month, that month of course being April. We reviewed 13 games last month, so 3 games haven't made the list at all. The House of the Dead remake, Ganryu 2 and Shattered Tower of the Forgotten King, but the other 10 games will be in the list starting from the game with the lowest score up until the game of course that got the highest. So which game got the highest score on the channel for the month of April? Well, let's find out. Kicking us off then, in joint 10th place was Lila's Sky Arc. This action-adventure game has an aesthetic very reminiscent of Hyper Light Drifter as you play as Lila in her quest to stop the conductor from destroying all things musical. There's a Metroidvania element to it, with items needed to be acquired to enter previously inaccessible areas, and boss battles all have a musical theme to them, which makes for quite a unique experience. With that musical theme in mind, it's nice to report that the soundtrack is definitely a highlight, with the main negative points being controls that could do with a bit of tightening and some performance issues. A good start to this list though, with a SwitchUp score of 77%. Also in joint 10th was Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, a game that first released on the PlayStation as a sequel to Super Nintendo classic Chrono Trigger. This didn't actually make it to Europe first time round, so it was nice to finally get a chance to play it. There have been some quality of life improvements to what still holds up very well gameplay wise anyway, with special mention going to the sublime soundtrack. The visuals haven't fared quite so well, with a few performance issues letting things down, and some of the settings and options have not been implemented as well as they could have been. There's just that feeling that Square Enix could have done a bit more. That said, it's great to finally have it, and on a portable system too. It also scored 77%. We have a 3-way tie now, so in joint 6th place was Bugsnax. This first released in 2020 for the PS4 and PS5 and is a first-person adventure game set on a place called Snacktooth Island. You'll need to complete quests for the villagers involving the titular Bugsnax. These half bug, half snack creatures live on the island, and you will be tasked with capturing them by working out their routines and preferences and then using a variety of tools. It's a clever idea and seems to fuse together parts of other games such as Viva Pinata and Pokemon Snap, and whilst the quests themselves are fairly repetitive, the variety in creatures and how to catch them keeps things interesting. It got a SwitchUp score of 81%. Another game in joint 6th then was Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This is an enhanced remaster of the Wii version of this game, meaning it has the motion controls included, and the story it tells is an interesting one of being Darth Vader's apprentice. Performance is good, although the design is dated in places, and it is quite a short game, but it joins a long list of Star Wars games brought to the Switch by Aspyr, and it scored 81%. The last game in that 3-way tie for 6th place was Zombie Army 4 Dead War. This follows Zombie Army Trilogy in coming to the Switch and joins quite an impressive Rebellion library of third-person shooters that have been brought to Nintendo's hybrid system. This latest edition keeps the heart-pounding nature of the previous Zombie Army games, although it does introduce a new crafting system where guns and weapons can be upgraded. The online mode works very well and performance across the board is incredibly sound. It is expensive compared to how much it costs elsewhere, a common issue with Switch games it seems, but that doesn't detract from the amount of fun it is, and it's the final game this month with a score of 81%. In 5th place was Dysmantle, a post-apocalyptic survival game which sees your character emerge from a shelter after many years. For the price of around £18, there's a good 40 to 60 hours worth of play here. You have the couch co-op and the leisurely pace that you can play the game at, which really helps with the experience, as does the very addictive gameplay loop. There are some minor performance issues and text size may be an issue for some, but this is very good value for money. It got a SwitchUp score of 82%. In 4th place was an interesting game called Nobody Saves the World. You play as the titular Nobody, an androgynous blob who will change into many forms as the game goes on a quest to save the world from calamity. It's a top-down dungeon crawler with the shape or form changing aspect adding a new take, and each form will come with new skills and abilities, and these will allow you to visit new areas of the map as you go on. The humour is strong with a quirky and whimsical style, but it can be easy for your character to get a little lost in the pandemonium on screen at times, plus the lack of a slowdown in the action when changing forms seems like a bit of an odd design choice. On the whole though, well worth playing, it got a SwitchUp score of 83%. Into the top 3 and in 3rd place was the Serpent Rogue. This action adventure game has quite a slow first few hours, but it does become very rewarding as you begin to learn its mechanics. You'll be exploring, foraging and using alchemy on your journey, and you can play the game in a number of ways, catering it to your tastes. You could tame beasts and monsters and have them aid you on your quest, or use villagers as test subjects for your alchemy. It's up to you to a certain extent. There is an element of grinding and some slight performance issues unfortunately, but this is a unique and interesting experience and it got a SwitchUp score of 85%. In 2nd place was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. This is a heavily story-driven affair, with the story being told from the perspective of 13 characters. Set across a large period of time with a narrative that jumps backwards and forwards, the characters were all incredibly interesting and the interwoven storyline was handled very well. The combat was also a good addition, if a little simple, but the visuals and audio really rounded out a superb package. It got a SwitchUp score of 88%. And in 1st place for the month, the 2nd Star Wars game on the list is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. A game that covers 9 movies from the Star Wars franchise and tells that tale in the typical humorous LEGO way. There is a fantastic world to explore with scenes from the movies converted into huge LEGO playgrounds to be explored, and the amount of content included is incredibly impressive. Skill trees for each character mix up the traditional formula, as do the space combat levels. Co-op play is available as you would expect, although playing in split screen can lead to some drops in performance, which is unfortunate. A great entry for the evergreen LEGO video game machine though, and it got the highest score for the month, a SwitchUp score of 89%. So there you have it, another busy month for SwitchUp. 10 reviews on this list, but 13 reviews in total as I said earlier, and the links for all 13 of those reviews will be in the top pinned comment if you do want the full story on any of these games. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to download any of these games or anything else on the shop for that matter, you can use our website switchup.gg and get your eShop cards there. It does help the channel out, so thank you to anyone that does use it, it's very much appreciated. A quick thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.